Hello and welcome to CMBG News. I'm Emanuel. In today's top stories, Greece Prime Minister George Papandreou went on national television yesterday to announce that a new interim government had been formed, but he did not name his successor. What he did do, however, was give sort of a graduation speech, summing up moves in recent years to stabilize and help the country, expressing the country's continued commitment to the European bailout plan and urging political parties to transcend their differences. Mr. Papandreou said the country's new government would signal the beginning of a new political mentality, a new political culture. He said the interim government would make the necessary efforts to justify the sacrifices made by the Greek people over the past 2 years, referring to a raft of wage and pension cuts as well as hefty tax increases. Some interpreted the tone of his speech as signaling his departure not only from Greek politics, but from the country itself. I never put my position above the national good, he said. For me, Greece is above everything. Wherever I go, I will carry the Greek flag in my heart. He added that he would do everything he could to support the new prime minister and the new government. Transitioning over to Italy, President Giorgio Napolitano says concerns about whether Berlusconi would actually leave office are completely unfounded. He said economic reforms demanded by the European Union would be passed by Parliament in a matter of days, and that he would work to avoid a prolonged period of political uncertainty. Napolitano issued the statement after markets pounded Italy on Wednesday, sending its key borrowing rate well over the 7% level that eventually forced other Eurozone countries like Greece and Portugal to seek bailouts. Moving over to sports news, longtime Penn State head football coach Joe Paterno will retire at the end of the 2011 season, he said in a statement this morning. Regarding child sex abuse scandals involving a former assistant football coach and 2 university officials, he said, I grieve for the children and their families, and I pray for their comfort and relief, Paterno said. Paterno's contract was set to expire at the end of the season. Some had called for him to resign because of his response to allegations brought to him in 2002 by a graduate assistant, who said he had seen retired defensive coordinator Jerry Sadusky sexually assaulting a young boy in the shower at the campus football complex. There have been some criticisms of the way we've handled some of the poor victims, the legendary coach told a cheering crowd Tuesday night, according to a YouTube video that was posted by the Daily Collegian, Penn State's student newspaper. Meanwhile, calls coming into a tip line from people claiming to be victims of retired defensive coordinator Jerry Sadusky have been brisk, said a source close to the investigation. The police are still attempting to verify all the claims. 2 other Penn State officials have also been arrested and accused of failing to report the abuse. On Sunday, the university said the officials had stepped down, one of them returning to retirement and the other taking administrative leave. In health news, are you a woman without medical insurance? Well, if you are familiar with the challenges surrounding annual checkups. In Orange County, Florida, there are 40,000 women aged 40 and over without health insurance, women who should be getting regular mammograms but most likely aren't. Too often, that can mean the difference between life and death. Well, today marks the start of an initiative that couldn't have come any sooner. A 2-year-long mobile mammography pilot program begins for low-income women in Apopka. Funded through a $250,000 grant from Florida's Hospitals Community Health Impact Council, the program will target uninsured and underinsured women who are already patients at the nonprofit Community Health Center's clinic in Apopka. This generous gift will certainly save lives, said Barbara Snell, Community Health Center's president and CEO. For many of the agency's patients, basic preventative services such as mammography become a luxury they simply cannot afford. The program will bring a mobile mammography unit to the Popka Clinic 6 times in the upcoming year, eliminating transportation hurdles, and offer free screening and diagnostic mammograms, as well as breast ultrasounds and biopsies for those who show potential signs of cancer. For more information on breast cancer and community resources, please go to pinkispowerful.com. While the U.S. may be experiencing economic woes, there's one company who doesn't seem to be getting hit. McDonald's reported a higher than expected rise in worldwide October sales at established restaurants, aided by popular promotional games such as Monopoly. McDonald's has been outpacing such rivals as Wendy's, Burger King, and Yum Brands KFC by attracting a broader range of diners than fast food's typical young adult males. It has done that with menu items like kids' meals, premium Angus beef hamburgers, and a selection of high-margin drinks ranging from lattes to fruit smoothies. It is also renovating its dining areas to be more modern and comfortable. For those who participated in the 2011 McDonald's Monopoly game, which has concluded and are a winner, the deadline for claiming a prize is November 21st, 2011. Well, GOP presidential candidate Herman Cain has spoken during a press conference yesterday in Scottsdale to address the scandal threatening to engulf his campaign. Cain repeated his claim that he did not recognize Sharon Bilek when he saw her at her press conference Monday and said that he did not remember her name. Bilek has accused Cain of putting his hand under her skirt and pushing her head toward his crotch after a dinner meeting in 1997, after she had been let go from the National Restaurant Association, of which Cain was formerly the head of. She was the first woman to make the claim publicly, though 3 other women had done so anonymously. Cain said Tuesday that he would be willing to take a lie detector test to rebut multiple claims that he engaged in sexual harassment in the 1990s, though he seemed to stop short of promising to do so. Yes, I absolutely would, Cain said when asked about taking a test, but I'm not going to do that unless I have a good reason to do that. Of course I would be willing to do a lie detector test. Cain said he considers sexual harassment to be a serious issue, and said respect for women is a top priority for him. He said he had seen sexual harassment in the workplace personally, both with men harassing women and where women had attempted to sexually harass men. Cain concluded the press conference by saying his withdrawal from the presidential race ain't gonna happen, and vowed we will get through this. We will get through this. Now that Conrad Murray has been found guilty in Jackson's death, what next? After the guilty verdict was read Monday in a Los Angeles courtroom, Murray was immediately handcuffed and taken into custody. It has been reported that the 58-year-old is not on suicide watch. Murray could be sentenced to anything from probation to 4 years behind bars, according to the New York Post. Justice was served, his brother Jermaine said, as he and the rest of the family braved huge crowds to leave the courthouse, while Sister Reby added, "Nothing will bring him back, but I'm happy Murray was found guilty." Victory, tweeted his sister LaToya, "We're most proud of the Walgren team. You did an excellent job in your quest to seek justice for Michael and my family," referring to prosecutor David Walgren. Murray's defense lawyer, Ed Chernoff, made no comment about whether Murray will appeal against the criminal conviction. Murray had admitted to giving Jackson a small amount of propofol to help him sleep, but not the massive amount of the drug, which is normally only used in hospital settings as an anesthetic, found in his body. Michael Jackson died on June 25, 2009. Former heavyweight champion Joe Frazier has died. Boxing great Joe Frazier, who went toe-to-toe 3 times with Muhammad Ali, died yesterday of liver cancer, according to his personal and business manager. Frazier, nicknamed Smoking Joe, used his devastating left hook with impunity during his professional career, retiring with a 32-4-1 record. Frazier, the son of a South Carolina sharecropper, boxed during the glory days of the heavyweight division, going up against greats George Foreman, Oscar Bonavena, Joe Bugner, and Jimmy Ellis. But it was his 3 much-hyped fights with or against Ali that helped seal his legend. Later, Ali said, "It was the closest I've come to death." Fans and well-wishers are encouraged to post their condolences at joefrazierscorner.com. Also on yesterday, the hip-hop world lost rapper Heavy D. Heavy D had seen a doctor in the days before his death on Tuesday, and police said in a statement there was no evidence of foul play. Heavy D experienced breathing problems at his home and then collapsed. Heavy D was 44 years old. In tech news, Barnes & Noble's new Nook tablet is here. Barnes & Noble is set to fight fire with fire. Amazon.com's upcoming Kindle Fire tablet, that is. At a Manhattan press conference Monday, the bookseller unveiled its brand new 7-inch slate called Nook Tablet. Just in time for the holidays, of course. The Nook Tablet will cost $249, $50 higher than the $199 sweet spot that Amazon is charging for Fire. The Nook tablet looks a lot like the Nook Color Reader tablet that came before it and that Barnes & Noble CEO William Lynch says has sold in the millions. What we set out to do here was create the best portable 7-inch media tablet. It is an evolution of Nook Color and a revolution in the 7-inch media category, Lynch says. To help you fly through the contents on the Nook tablet, you can tap the screen to summon a slider that makes it jump to any page. Across the home screen, you get one-click access to books, newsstand, video, music, and apps. The new Nook tablet will supply preloaded apps from Netflix, Hulu+, TV.com, Pandora, among others. The company says it will have thousands of available apps by the holidays. Barnes & Noble is now taking pre-orders for the Nook. Moving over the business news, a Miami federal judge on Monday gave final approval to a $410 million settlement in a class action lawsuit affecting more than 13 million Bank of America customers who had debit card overdrafts during the past decade. Senior U.S. District Judge James Lawrence King said the agreement was fair and reasonable, even though it drew criticism from some customers because they would receive only a fraction of what they paid in overdraft fees. The fees were usually $35 per occurrence. It's really undisputed that this is one of the largest settlements ever in a consumer case, said Aaron Podhurst, a lead attorney for the customer class. The settlement became final a week after Charlotte, North Carolina-based Bank of America backed off of a plan to charge a $5 monthly fee for debit card purchases. The outcry prompted other major banks, including J.P. Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo, to cancel trial tests of their own debit card fees. The Supreme Court reverses decision throwing out death sentence for a man convicted of burying victim alive. The Supreme Court says a lower court was wrong when it threw out the death penalty and conviction of a man accused of beating his roommate and burying him alive. The court on Monday issued an unsigned opinion that reverses the dismissal of Archie Dixon's death sentence. The 6th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals had said Dixon's confession was coerced by police. Dixon was to be executed by the state of Ohio for the 1993 slaying of Christopher Hammer. Hammer was beaten and robbed on September 22, 1993, and then was driven to a remote area where he was buried alive in a shallow grave. The Ohio Supreme Court had upheld its death sentence, a decision the Supreme Court said must be respected. Police are searching for a 2-year-old Washington State boy, focusing their efforts Monday around the home of the mother, who reportedly told investigators she last saw him in her stalled car on a city street as she walked away for an hour to get gas. It wouldn't be the first time Sky Metawala had been left alone in a car. When he was just 3 months old, court records revealed his parents left him in their sport utility vehicle in a Target parking lot for 45 minutes on a 27-degree day. They only came out of the store to get him after police arrived and asked for the vehicle's owner to be paged. The toddler's disappearance Sunday in Bellevue came at the height of a custody fight between his parents. They separated in March 2010 amid back-and-forth protective orders and allegations of abuse and psychiatric problems. Investigators searched a 20-block area and even went door to door, but found no sign of him. There was no gas can at the car, police said. The Bellevue Police Department said both parents were cooperating and the mother had consented to have her vehicle and home in nearby Redmond searched. The older child has been placed in protective custody. The effort to rescue hundreds of trekkers stranded for 6 days in a town near Nepal's iconic Mount Everest continued today. Bad weather around Mount Everest had stranded more than 2,200 trekkers in the area of a town near the mountain. Tourists have been stranded in the town of Lukla, located in the northeast Nepal, since Tuesday. Aircrafts have been unable to fly in or out of the airport in Lukla, where supplies are limited. Stranded tourists took 48 flights and helicopter rides out of Lukla on Sunday. At least 500 trekkers were flown to the capital. Singer Andy Williams, known for his hit song Moon River, announced Saturday night at a concert in Branson, Missouri, that he has bladder cancer. The 83-year-old says he is undergoing treatment and has plans to perform in 2012. Williams began singing his singing career as a child in a quartet with his three older brothers. He then went on to become a regular on Steve Allen's Tonight Show and then on his variety program, The Andy Williams Show, in the 1960s. In more entertainment news, Oprah Winfrey is creating quite the buzz. Media mogul Oprah Winfrey will soon receive an honorary Oscar. The prestigious Jern Hersholt Humanitarian Award will be presented to Winfrey Saturday at the Kodak Theater in Los Angeles, California, from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. Some have criticized the move by the Academy, saying she belongs more in the television world than film. Winfrey says she understood that criticism, but says she was given the award for her humanitarian contributions. Winfrey was nominated for an Oscar before for her role in Color Purple. She has also produced several high-profile films such as Beloved and Precious. Elizabeth Taylor, Quincy Jones, Jerry Lewis, and Paul Newman are some of the previous recipients of the award. This and more news coming up right here on CMBG News after this short break.